Hi, everyone. All right. So I'm so excited to be here today, to be seeing all of you and to be meeting with you. I absolutely love that film. And so I kind of want to start by talking about the two actors, Lucien and Brian, and how amazing they were. Tell me about how did you cast them?
It was quite hard to cast them because in the Netherlands there are not casting agencies who have people with disabilities. And from the start, I already knew that I wanted to work with people with real disabilities. I also saw some actors who tried to play a disabled person, like the spasm, but it was horrible. We fired two casting agencies because they didn't have people with disabilities. So I started looking them by myself on the internet, and I found an article of a boy called Joel. And I thought he was perfect because he had a really visible disability like spasticity, but he didn't have an intellectual disability. And for the role of Lucien, he needed to make a bow. First, he got drugged of the medication, and after Brian is quitting with the medication, he need to be awake and flowering and alive and kicking. That guy was perfect for the role, but he was 13. So I thought, oh, that's way too young. But then I discovered that the article was 2018, and it was 2021. So I thought, oh, he might be now on the right age. So we called him, and we went to his home and did a casting. And after the casting, I said, you got the role. Wow. And we did a lot of building the relationship between them. So we went to theme parks together, and they also during the shooting they became real friends. Actually, the shot that you saw when Lucien is lying on the ground and crying, it's not that he's crying because he's playing so good. Of course, he's playing so good, but he's also crying because that was the last shot that we shot in the film. And I am the type of director who is using that moment for my own purpose. Yeah.
That's amazing. I think we can all, now that you said that, right, could have felt that, right, in that moment, because that was amazing. Thank you. So this film actually started as a novel. Is that correct? Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Well, it was a novel. That's true. It's a novel from the Netherlands, and actually, first I was busy with two other films. One film was about disability, and there was another film about a boy who grew up on a trailer park. And then this novel came out in the Dutch bookstore, and my producer was coming to me, and she laid the book so next to me, and she said, "This will be your first film." And I said, "Oh, I don't want to do a novel like it. I want to tell my own story." But then I started reading the book, and it was better than the other two film plans that we were developing. So actually, the choice was made for me. I didn't have any choice for. It was such a nice, beautiful book. I really fell in love about the two brothers, and what I really liked about the story is that it's a very industrial environment, but between all the rust and the metal, they are telling a very intimate story about brother love, and I wanted to explore that in cinema. Yeah, but it's also funny. Like the book is only with dialogues. And I really try to make the film with so less dialogue as possible. And I remember every chapter of the book I remember as a picture. So I try to capture every scene as a picture as well. That's also the reason why the film had a really weird aspect ratio. Like, it's not a normal 16:9 aspect ratio, but it's a photograph aspect ratio. Okay. So that's the reason why. So I thought it's another medium, so I want to make a sort of transition from book to cinema.
Wonderful. Thank you. Yeah, and you did such a nice job. I was actually talking to you a little bit before this backstage, and I don't know if all of you felt the same way. There was such a connection of emotion, right? When there was no dialogue, you just got, you could tell just, what was happening with everybody in that film. So you did such a nice job with that. And I love that you also just talked about the background, right? So tell me about where was this filmed and the connection, because it was very raw, the background, right? Where it was filmed and how it was filmed.
Yeah, we knew that we needed to have an abandoned trailer park. So we tried to find it in Belgium. Next to the Netherlands, and we found a place what was an abandoned trailer park, and with trailers. There weren't people in there for like 20 years, so they were growing trees through the trailers. But the producer made a mistake by connecting. It made the right arrangements with the persons there. So 3 months later, we came back, and then it was a parking lot. So everything was away. So we needed to create everything by ourselves, actually. So it was a quite hard job. And it was also hard because Lucien also got the spasm, of course. And he was... might be a possibility that he's going to hurt himself on the location. But what the production designers they did a really good job by creating really big foamy things around him, and they painted like it was metal. Like when he is lying on the ground and crying, he's actually lying against foam stuff, which was painted like metal furniture. Also, when he's in the car, in the rusty car, it's all pillows, and they painted like rusty things and so it has to be safe for him, of course. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Or it has to be the last day to shoot the scene. You didn't need to.
Very true. I'm curious to hear what you say when people ask you what this film is about, because as I watched it, there was so many things that stood out to me. So what do you say when people ask you that question?
Yeah, well, for me, actually, the story is about Brian, who's trying to find love and affection. And he can't find it with his father, because his father is not capable of giving love. And he's really afraid of Lucien, because when he was younger, Lucien took his earring out of his ear in a moment of anger. So from that point, Brian is really scared of Lucien. So he started to try to find the affection and love by also the neighbor on the trailer park, Emile, but that type of love is temporary. He also tried to find it with Selma, which is also a sort of mother figure for her, but that's not a real type of love that he's getting. And in the end, he's getting the love and affection of the person that he expected it at least from, and that is Lucien. So, and I really want to tell something about disability with this film, because it's a film with a lot of disabled persons, but for me, the person with the biggest disability is the father, because he's not able to give love and affection to his own son, and I think that is. I think it's horrible. That is the real disability, and there are actually too many fathers and mothers in the world who are not capable to give love to his own child. So.
Great, thank you. What kind of feedback or reactions have you received from people with disabilities regarding this film?
Well, there are a lot of people with disabilities who ask me if they want to play a role in my next film.
Great.
And I try to do that, of course. Yeah, like sometimes people think it's heavy to see Lucien as well in a diaper, and they ask me how we did that and if it was a nice period for him. But you have to know, like, the actor who is playing it, he's not a real actor. So he didn't act before. And he's actually quite lonely. Because he's not really handy in talking. So he doesn't have a lot of friends, actually. And he is so happy to be part of the film. It was the best experience in his life. And right now he got a lot of friends. He got Brian. He also starting right now on a film academy as a director.
Oh.
Yeah, he's doing so many things right now. So so I really like that this film could also be something social, as a social thing for him. Yeah, something like that.
Great, thank you. You know, you did mention before that it was so important for you to cast people, you know, someone that had a disability. What message would you give to filmmakers about including people with disabilities in their cinema? Is it just that, right? That why not, right?
Yeah, like yeah, that's. I'm not sure how it is in America, but in the Netherlands you have a lot of film characters who have a disability, but they mostly got played by actors who doesn't have a disability, and I think that is really, really, really weird. Because there are a lot of people with disabilities who would love to play the role. So that was also the reason why I want to make this film with only persons with disabilities. Like it wouldn't feel good to do it without them. And also, like, you make your film way more realistic, because and you give a job to a person of a certain type of group who already got expelled a lot of times from their society. So I don't understand, and of course it might be sometimes you need a little bit more time. Sometimes it has to be a little bit more expensive. But yeah, that's the price that we need to pay. So, and it's so strange, like, we are busy to create the film industry more inclusive. But people with disabilities are often excluded in that inclusive part. So, yeah, I hope that people will change that. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I did want to talk one more moment about you. You had mentioned about the way you shot the film. You said it was, what did you say, like a photograph almost? And then you also said something about. Can you elaborate on that a little bit more? Because it was also kind of like one shot, correct?
Yeah, it might be because I have ADHD, but I really like slow cinema. So I really like to just watch, and that I can choose where I can watch too in the picture. So so I try to shoot the film. Actually, I try to shoot the scene in one shot. But my producers were a little bit afraid for that. Like, okay, if I'm going to shoot everything in one shot, we don't know how long it would be. So it was be possible that I put all the scenes together and we would have a film of 3-4 hours. So I thought, okay, how can I do this? So I discovered a way how we can do it. Like, we shot every shot like on 4 different times. Not in different type of shots, because I know if I'm shooting more type of shots, I'm going to use them in the editing, and I don't want it. So I was shooting the scene of 3 minutes, and after that I shot the scene again, but then in 1.5 minutes, so a shortened version. And in the end, we also did a dialogue-less version. So we deleted all the dialogue out of the scene and tried to tell the story without people talking. And in the end, like for 60-70%, we used that take in the film. I really like the way to work on that way. So. But it was really hard to because normally when you shoot a film, you have not that much hours, so you need to be really quick. And normally, in my previous films, I shot too much different type of shots. So that was the reason what I wanted to do in this film. So only one shot, and one shot per scene. Yeah.
Great, thank you. I actually want to take a moment before I have another question, but does anybody in the audience have anything that I'll open up to an audience question, anything that somebody wants to ask? Yes. Oh.
I'll bring a mic to you. One moment.
Thank you.
Oh, good Lord. Hi, I have two sons, one who's, I guess, neurodivergent, we say now, and the other who isn't. So I really appreciate it because I know what it was like for them to sort of take care of each other. So that's good. Are you getting a lot of play in the Netherlands with the film? Because it is wonderful. Like in a lot of theaters? Is it in a lot of theaters?
Well, yeah, it was in 35 theaters, and in the Netherlands, it's an okay score. Yeah, and there were like 25,000 people who went to the cinema. And for an art house film, that's okay. We hoped a little bit more, because it's a famous book in the Netherlands, and we had a lot of competition of an other Dutch film, and people are not going to the 2 Dutch films in 1 month. That's the thing. Yeah. So yeah, and it still need to be released on VOD. So, but I think it is a film that you need to see in the cinema. Like normally when I'm seeing such a film on the television, I'm getting bored. I'm going on my cell phone, and I just need to be in a dark room. Yeah.
Great, thank you. Anyone else?
Just one moment. I'm so sorry. This is for ADA compliance.
Hello. I was just wondering, is there anyone close in your life that has a disability that motivated you to do this film, make this film? Sorry.
No. Well, yes. Not. No, not like the typical disabilities that we know, like intellectual disabilities. But I grew up in the north of the Netherlands, and what I experienced is a lot of hetero machismo. So a lot of guys who can talk about their emotions and they only drink alcohol, and yeah, I'm just not that type of guy. So that was really hard for me when I grew up in the north of the Netherlands, and I think that's also a disability. But I don't have a brother or a family member with a disability. No.
Anyone else?
The movie had a lot of shots, reflections, like reflections in the window or mirror. I was wondering if that had a specific meaning or anything.
Yeah, I'm thinking right now, can I say something about a meaning? But actually, I don't. It was only actually the adventure that I want to try to achieve, to tell a story or to tell a scene in one shot. So we thought, oh, we can do a lot of in reflections. And of course, it's when we're talking about the scene with the hospital, we thought it would be interesting to don't see the death of Henkelman in the film. That you see it a little bit in a reflection, but not really good. So, and from that moment, I really like the tension of that you, as a viewer, don't understand what's going on, and you need to take a look at it a little bit more better. And that's also the reason why the film also had this type of aspect ratio. Like 50% of the film is outside the image. That's also the reason why I cut all the people out of the image, and you hear them, and you only see Brian. I run him narrowing his life actually.
I actually have one more question now that just brought up something for me. Since you were saying it's all in one shot, and the bugs, like you could hear flies flying around and different things like that. Was that put in afterward, or is that actually part of the shot? Just because that also set the mood.
Sorry, the bugs, the insects?
Like the insects, yes. Yeah.
Well, what is the question about insects?
Oh, were they real? Like, or is that like sound that you put in after the fact?
Oh, it was funny though, because on the novel, it has a big picture of a dead wasp. And it's typical when it's summer, you have a lot of wasps. But it's really hard to shoot a film in one shot per scene, especially with people with disabilities, especially with people with children, also especially with a lot of animals and insects. So we were afraid that we wouldn't get insects. But we were there on the land, and there were like so many wasps all over the place. And of course, we have the shot of the wasp who is drowning in the lemonade.
Okay.
For me, that's a metaphor for the feeling of Brian. How Brian is feeling. But I really want to say that it's a fun fact in the film. I rescued the wasp, so he's still alive. I'm not sure if he's still alive, but he didn't die for that shot. All the other 100 wasps, what you see, they are dead. But that particular wasp, we saved.
We saved the one. Thank you. Anyone else? Yeah.
So sorry, one moment. Excuse me. Hi, my name is Allison. I was actually going to help you with your question. She was asking if you added Foley of the wasp after shooting the wasp, or was the sound in camera as you shot the wasp?
Both. Like we shot some scenes and where we were hearing wasps, but of course we edited everything underneath it, especially also the sound of Lucien. And that's also because the spasm of the actor, he got a lot of trouble with the reflux, so he wasn't able to make the sound like rah, rah, rah. So we did everything in Foley actually. It was also weird because when we were shooting, he was like only doing like, that was. Yeah, so weird actually, because we also needed to have the clean sound of Brian, and we also knew that we need to build the sound of Lucien. That also when he's not in the image, he needs to be there, and you need to want to hear him somewhere. But that's so technical. You just want to have the control over that in the sound studio. Yeah.
Nice. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for your questions. Thank you to Ravit and Lawrence and Real Abilities for having this amazing festival. And thank you so much for just coming here and sharing everything with us. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for being here.
Yes, thank you. Thank you both.